thank all of you for joining in today. Today we have a very interesting session. The topic of today's session is building a successful brand campaign on Twitter. So in today's session, we're actually going to talk about a lot of things about Twitter marketing, starting with basics to how to run or promote campaigns organically, how to use the paid ways of promoting campaign on Twitter, and including a lot of case studies and some insightful tips also on how to really create successful campaign on Twitter. To lead this session, we have with us Hrish, who is commonly known as Dempe. Uh, Hrish, he currently works as a senior manager social computing at Happiest Mind Technologies. And I have a privilege of leading some of the Twitter marketing workshops along with Hrish as part of Digital Vidya long time back. I'm really happy that we're leading a session again together. Welcome, Hrish. Thanks for joining in today. Those of you
Thanks,
I
Kapil.
mean, I don't know how many of you know. Welcome. How many of you know Hrish? But as I mentioned earlier, he's commonly known as Dempe on Twitter, and he's possibly among the most active Twitter users in India. Just to give you an idea about it, the number of photographs or videos that he has shared on Twitter is close to twice the number of tweets that I've done on Twitter. So that's the kind of exposure that he has on Twitter. So without taking any further time, I'll just, before I hand it over the session to Hrish, let me just set the logistics. This is the first time actually we are conducting the session on Adobe Connect. So my only request is, at times, if you're not able to hear me properly, if there is any disturbance in voice, the best option is to re-log in and you'll be able to get the voice properly. Other than that, all of you are muted by default. So at any time you have any question, I would request you to please type it down in the question panel, and we'll, once the session is over, which is like after 35 minutes of the session, once the presentation is over, we'll take up all the questions in chronological order. And later on, by default, all of you are muted. If there is an open discussion needed, I'll unmute you when and wherever it is needed. That's it from my side. Hrish, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Kapil. So it's great to be back to to Digital Vidya, and how we used to share a lot of useful information to corporates and to many participants across India about Twitter. So I just thought today I'll just share some of my insights and some of the work I've done in the brand campaigning on Twitter. And I just wanted to start with saying that this is not just only my contribution, but there has been a very strong team behind me, including friends of mine like Nivedit, Arvind, and others who have really helped me. So I think I just wanted to even acknowledge them while going ahead. And I think there could be situations where because these guys also have been working very close to the ground, so they could also help out in some of the questions that people have with their experiences. So I think I want to keep it interactive. Yeah. And so just going ahead, as you know, the topic is that building a successful brand campaign on Twitter. So I'll just go ahead. Some of the basic agenda that I had is what are the basics of Twitter marketing, and how are the different brands using Twitter marketing, and how are they doing the campaigns, how are they using the organic marketing, how are they and some of the successful case studies where we have been working. And paid marketing is something which has come up recently, and taking on quite fast. So I am going to cover a bit of that. And there's been a lot of criticism also about Twitter marketing, about trending. So I thought I'll even cover that part. And finally, I thought one of the main metrics of any campaigning is about how do you measure it, and what is the what is the value that you're bringing to table, because you are actually spending effort and money on it. So how do you do that? That's what I'm going to actually cover also. So basics of Twitter marketing. Obviously, I am sure everybody is very even not very active on Twitter. They know what is Twitter, and they know what is the how how to use it regularly. But some of the things which I would say are basics of a brand marketing itself on Twitter is that they have to understand it's a quick and short message. Honestly, I've seen brands where they tweet like 2 to 3 tweets to just convey one message. That is actually absolutely unrequired. And the entire idea is to be actually be very simple, be very direct to the point, and then rather than just having a lot of information out there or connecting you to some other medium to get across to the point. So that is something. And inclusiveness, I've seen that over the period of years, it's not just initially when we started Twitter at 2008 in India, most of the people I saw that it was only the early adopters or people who are active on internet or who techies that they join. But later on, we have seen that it has actually entered the mainstream, and people are now who want to follow their favorite stars or follow their favorite athletes online, and then want to get direct information. So what we need to understand is that during when you are marketing on Twitter, you're not just talking to only techies or only early adopters, but you're talking to the entire customer base. So that's something which is very important. So that's why I included inclusiveness as a point. And of course, it's all about real-time updates and how you can convey the information. It is not something which has more than maybe more than a couple of hours of value. So you need to get that real-time updates. And now that everybody has got a smartphone, so this is a best way to convey the message on the move also, especially when people are traveling and all that. And that's the same thing I was saying, that it provides a direct connect with the consumers. So you can directly rather than before Twitter, maybe to raise a issue with a brand, you would have to go through an entire channel of either via their marketing team or via their customer support team. But here there is a direct connect with the brand, and people are able to quickly get information. So that's what is one of the other beautiful features of Twitter. And it's a good way to listen to consumers. Listening has been really something which many brands are not doing. They're just coming on board, and then they're just blasting people with messages. But something you need to listen what people are talking about your brands. People are talking about the kind of services that you offer. Can you be a part of those conversations and market yourself? That is what is going to be important. And most importantly, it's all about learning from mistakes. So we have seen that many big brands, the very popular case of ESPN tweeting out something, Star Sports tweeting out something very profane. And then this is something where you can actually understand that, you want to be, how do you control, how do you control these kind of mistakes, and how do you ensure that these are not happening? I think that is something which I feel are some of the basics of Twitter. If any questions are there, we could take it right now, or we just want to go ahead. Okay, so so some of the things like why the Twitter campaigns for brands are there. If you actually see that Twitter is right now 500 million users. This is a little older data. Right now, it's kind of growing so fast that we cannot even track the kind of information which is available. So what is happening is that brands, a lot of brands are there, but how do you ensure that you are on the top of the mind? You are the guy who is being, your brand is the brand which is most recognized when people think about particular services. So that is why it's important that you need to be there where your consumers are. And now that, as I was talking to you, it's about how so many varieties of people are coming onto Twitter. So it's like you cannot miss that channel. And if you many I have been interacting with few brand managers, and some of them are not understanding the medium very well. So it's like you need to ensure that you use it in a much better way, so that within a limited means within a limited budget also you are able to achieve what you have set forward. So that is what can be done. And one of the case studies that I wanted to talk about is one of the campaigns that we were involved in called Only Man Can. This was a Park Avenue Grooming. They were launching a new beer shampoo, and for this they wanted to kind of have a campaign where they wanted to get people to tweet with Only Man Can, and they wanted to include some kind of a humor, include some kind of virality in it. So it was such a Twitter hashtag which was not very brand specific. So people were like, let's start tweeting some of the memories, maybe some of the funny stuff that I can say about a friend, some of the interesting jokes we can do about our politicians or something like that. And then it just started taking on, and then we saw that the engagement level was so high that we trended not only in India but all over the world. And some of the very popular Twitter users also started using it. And if you see Poonam Pandey, there was Sony Pix, there were like some other brands which were uh, just hijacking this hashtag, and then they were like, okay, I want to use this hashtag and still get visibility. So there was this kind, it kind of went such a viral that people were ready to other brands were ready to leave their campaigns and start using this hashtag so that they could be seen among the top users. So that's why that's the kind of campaign which was done by Only Man Can. One of the other campaigns which was very interesting is the Style Turf campaign, which was done by Philips. So basically, they had like male grooming products and female grooming products. So rather, they kind of uh, they were looking at a selfie trend which is going on right now, and then they were like, okay, how can we implement that same in this? So there was like why don't you take a selfie with your boyfriend or girlfriend and this was done during the Valentine's Day, and they were like, okay, why don't you take a picture and then you can use it to tweet it and with the hashtag, and then you could win prizes like grooming products and other vouchers and all that. So, and this also took on very well because what they realized is that the trending, I mean, selfie has been one of the most active thing which was happening at that time. So they were like, okay, why don't we jump onto the bandwagon and use this? So that's how it was being done. So just to give an idea of the kind of tweets which went around, this was over 3 days, and if you actually see within a short time of around 2 to 3 hours, I think there were like 2,000 tweets, and it's not just the tweets which were important. If you actually see the kind of impact that it had, because the kind of influencers who got involved in this campaign were like people with thousands of followers or people who were very active and used to get regular response from their people, I mean from their followers. So then you saw that the kind of if you actually see here the kind of, this is the kind of impact which was there. And then the kind of number of followers who were there were like quite a bit. So you can see that the kind of influential people who were taking part ensured that the kind of reach it had was much higher. I think we have a question. Do you want to take that now, Kapil?
Sure. Kavita, I've unmuted you. Kavita, you raised your hand. I've unmuted you. Kavita, are you there? Kavita, you'll have to press the mic button on the top in the top panel to speak. Just press it once. Unmuted you. Looks like mic is not working.
Maybe she could
You
type
can
the
just type
question. I
down
think.
your question. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be better.
Is it working now? Hello, is it
Yeah.
working now?
Yes, Kavita.
It's working, right? Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Harish, actually, and Mr. Kiran, both of you, and everybody who's present here, a very pleasant good afternoon. It's a very nice session, that we are having right now. But I was just more deeply engrossed understanding the way you were talking about the Park Avenue
Okay.
campaign that you all ran. Now, Harish, just in brief, can you
Got cut.
explain me basically
Kavita,
what
looks like
was the
we're not able to
strategy
hear you
that you all
properly.
adapted for
Would request you to please type.
running the whole campaign? Because Park Avenue
Okay.
itself is a big
What about the
brand.
Park Avenue campaign?
So
Sorry,
having
I
a
think
successful
it got
brand
cut.
already
Voice is
with
breaking.
you,
Yeah.
how easy was it to run the campaign? Was it easy enough? How easy it is to have a successful brand with you,
Sorry, I think
what are
two
the
people are
different
talking.
ways that you can launch a new brand? Hello,
So,
hello.
sorry.
She wanted to know what was the strategy adopted. Uh, Kavita, it looks like your mic is not working. So I'm assuming you want to know more about the strategy behind the Park Avenue campaign, right? Great.
Okay.
So
Okay, Kavita.
I'm just
Okay. Okay. Kapil, can I answer that? Yeah. So, the kind of
yes, please.
so what? Yeah. So what, Kavita? What we did is that we approached very active Twitter users in India who were uh, very active Twitter users in India who had a decent number of followers. So maybe around 2 to 3,000 is the minimum kind of followers that we look at. And then we started telling them that rather than look at this as a as a just a pushing out brand message. We told them that why don't you go ahead and tell something funny about what only man can do. What are the kind of stuff which you can make fun of men, or and even and maybe you can make fun of your friends. So somebody would say that okay, only man can cry like my friend. And then they would tag that person. So what would happen is that that person would then take on, then get offended, or maybe in a funny way he would get interested, engaged in that conversation, and then he would say, okay, let me tweet something more funny and in retort to this guy. And then in the same way, people started tagging celebrities, and then some of the celebrities like Poonam Pandey looked at this, and then they found that this is the way they can also make fun of men maybe, and then they just started tweeting a lot of fun stuff, and slowly people started realizing, people didn't even see that it was just it was promoted by a brand, but people felt that it was something which was going viral, and then they started getting onto it. At the end of the day, the benefit for Park Avenue was that whoever clicked on only man can on the left hand side on the trends menu, they could come to the Park Avenue page because they could see one of the top tweets by Park Avenue, and they could even Park Avenue had taken it like a funny way. They didn't want to push directly the beer shampoo, but they wanted to kind of get the entire concept of grooming to the table. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, Kavita, I've muted you. So if there is a follow-up question,
Okay, I
please
think she said yes.
type it down. That'll keep it more efficient. By this, there's a question from Shweta. She's saying that it's great to trend worldwide. However, just curious to know, how do you connect it back to the brand? How is Park Avenue brand connected here since the hashtag is not branded?
Okay. Thanks, Shweta. Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain in the last question, also the second part of the last question. So what happens is that once once the hashtag starts trending worldwide, people will be, whenever they log in, they just check what is happening and they'll click on that hashtag to see more about it. And Twitter right now, what it does is that some of the top tweets which get most tweeted or which gets most interaction, they show them as the top tweets. So one of the tweets was of Park Avenue, and then they looked at it, and then they found some really funny creative, like a picture of a man who is not groomed well, and then there is suddenly at the end, I mean, in the background you see the beer shampoo. So why don't you have why not use beer for shampooing your hair also? So something like that was there, and this ensured that people not only had interesting content to go through, like jokes and funny tweets, but they also could actually look at the Park Avenue's product, and then if they really were interested, it would also like this was in conjunction with some of the print media and some of the television media ads, so they could actually relate with it, and then they could say, okay, this is something interesting, maybe next time let me try this product for myself or for my boyfriend, kind of thing. I hope that answered your question.
Sure, I think. And actually, there are a lot of questions now coming up. So I think we can, if you want, I can ask right now, or we can actually move on, finish the presentation, and then take up the question, whichever way you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with anything. Okay, because we have set up some time, Kapil, so we can go ahead and go to the next slide, and we can, keep taking one question maybe per slide, and then last one time we can take. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, I was actually at this slide. Basically, these are the kind of metrics that I wanted to show. That kind of this is a like metrics at a free level that you get some of the measurement websites I will share with you right now after some time, and but I this is just to tell the kind of impact and the reach this style turf campaign had for Philips, and then how it kind of spread around India and trended across India. So then let's get into the thing of what makes a Twitter campaign successful. So some sure sort methods of having successful Twitter campaign: engaging the active people with conversations. So when I was talking about active people, basically it was about the kind of people with people are Twitter people. So people are people with followers of around 2 to 3,000 and who are actively engaging with users. It's not just somebody who has like 50,000 or 1 lakh kind of followers and doesn't interact with anybody. Then it doesn't really make any sense, because at the end of the day, what happens is that the person is just broadcasting information. He is not engaging. So his kind of the kind of influence that the person brings to the table is very less. But somebody who with just 3,000 followers but regularly tweets and also interacts with people, that's the kind of people we you need brands to reach out to, and then they need to also ensure that it needs to be something kind of an innovation rather than something like just a usual RT, do the maximum retweets or do the maximum tweets kind of a contest. So we have seen that there have been cases where there are like maximum retweets done just for the sake of getting say 3,000 retweets or something like that. But at the end of the day, that was not really helping the brand. So people in fact started unfollowing the brand and thinking, why is this happening? So that's the kind of thing we should not do that. And another thing is that the kind of prizes that the brands give to these users also should be kind of experience based prizes. So when I mean experience based prizes, it would be like if it's a brand which has different kind of services, and then the winners could experience these services, like maybe a PVR gives out some tickets to the movies, rather than maybe say Amis Biryani gives out some biryanis. That kind of thing can happen. But what we should not do is that some kind of just a normal goodies which are given out, and then which don't make any sense or don't tie back to the brand. So that's the kind of thing which should be avoided. And it's important to engage with these kind of people who are very active, and then we can that way, that's the kind of way the engagement and buzz is generated. I think maybe we can take some questions. I see some interesting questions coming up. I think Kapil, can I answer some of the questions, Kapil? Yeah.
Sure. Please go ahead.
So yeah. So I think Amit Panchal has a question, which he said that fake followers help to trend a particular topic, as I'm not believing in to increase fake followers. So what basically I think what he's trying to say is that uh, if you have fake followers and you're trying to trend a particular topic, does it help in trending the topic? So what basically I would like to say to this is that at the end of the day, fake followers don't really help, because there is no interaction with these fake followers. So you'll be having these fake followers, but when you're actually interacting with them, there will be very less interaction which will be happening, because obviously these are all bots. So only your real followers will be talking to you and doing that. There have been cases when some of the campaigns have been done like this, but as much as possible, we tell brands to discourage this kind of campaigns, because at the end of the day, it's not the kind of just the followers reach which matters. It's also the kind of interactions which have happened which matters. So I hope that answers your question, Amit. And one more question is with Sonali Gill. She says that I worked on a similar campaign for my company, where one of our hashtags was trending worldwide, where we were running a contest, but people got so engrossed with the hashtag that the brand somewhere was lost. We were not able to make a brand connect. So this has also happened a couple of times, where brands try to push some hashtags which are just like just to promote the virality they are doing it. But we also suggest that brand should always, like I was mentioning in the case of Park Avenue Beer shampoo, that brand should always have the connect with their product in terms of creative images, maybe some kind of interesting creatives like images, videos. Those kind of things will always bring back the people to the brand and ensure that the brand connect is there. So that kind of thing will be happening. How many tweets does it take to get to the trending list on Twitter? This has been asked by Priyanka. So basically, what she's saying is that like Priyanka, what we have seen is that if you have got something like around 50 to 100 people tweeting, 50 to 100 people who have got a decent followers of around 2,000 each, and who are tweeting maybe 10 tweets in an hour, then it could be make it to the trending list. But what has also been happening is that the kind of way Twitter has been updating their trending list has been going slow sometimes, or it happens that they due to some kind of say things that which are out of control, like maybe like that MH17 tragedy which happened, or recent elections which happened, there it is a possibility that that hashtag may not go to the trending list. So there is no fixed kind of, I would say, kind of magic number which is there, but I would say that around we have got from around 500 around I mean, it has become much and more tougher right now, but there has been cases with around 500 tweets also could help you get trending if it's made by around 50 different users across India. And there has been cases when I know that in 2008, when just like 10 people in sitting in Bangalore could actually get it trending worldwide. But then as Twitter has becoming, Twitter has started kind of segregating the tweets per location, it's much more tougher to get trending in India or worldwide, unless you have people worldwide who are tweeting about it and regularly interacting about it. I think we have taken enough questions. Maybe we can go ahead and then we can come back to some more questions.
Okay.
This is one of the case study which is was happening, and this was Tata Nano basically trying to get some top 5 influencers from India, and then they had like different teams which were going on. So there were team blue, team orange, team red kind of thing, and what they ensured that they had these influencers who were actively tweeting about the brand, not just tweeting about the brand, but they were also getting interaction with their followers. So what happened is that doing like this, the followers could increase the points by tweeting some interesting tweets to these guys. There could be stuff where people will be, sharing some interesting information about Nano. And then what happened is that over a period of time, there was a check about, to address those kind of fake followers. There was a check wherever there was a fake profile was there. This was not added to the score. So it ensured that only people who are real influencer, real tweets, they only could, they only could add value to the leaderboard. So once this leaderboard was added, the person actually won the Tata Nano. So this actually, if you actually see, this also went on a worldwide trend and a 3-day kind of India trend which happened. And this kind of impact and the reach which it had was huge. So if the figures are there for you, like 20 million plus or 10 million plus kind of a reach. So reach is basically the kind of number of Twitter users it reached, and impact is the multiple instances of tweets which multiple instances of the reach. For example, I would say 10 million users had the capability to see the tweets, and they could see it at least 20 million times. So that's the kind of difference between impacts and reach. So of course you could always debate that maybe not all these 10 million people are online at the same time. So, or maybe they are not, they have a lot of friends they follow, and maybe the tweet doesn't get seen. But right now, with the kind of limited, metrics that Twitter is giving us, or the kind of third-party tools are giving us, this is the kind of thing that we can get to see. And I think that's the kind of thing which was there. Maybe I'll just take some more questions. I think some of the questions are, also very interesting thoughts are coming up, because, I'm seeing people who are, been doing this, who have faced issues, who are, wanting to try it out. So I'll take some of the questions now. So Ankita Gorpade, she is asking if the company is new or a beginner on Twitter, then how to increase the engagement level. So I would say, Ankita, that some of the main things is that you need to you need to get your Twitter handle to follow some of these active Twitter users or influencers. So what happens is that these people also start following you, and then afterwards what you can do is that you can convert rather than just talk about the brand, I think you should start talking about some of the you should engage them in a conversation. So one of the best examples of this I have seen is that hippo chips, which used to be there some time back. I'm not sure. I don't see it much recently, but what is happening is that these guys used to actually start, if you were, they started following the influencers, and whenever they were tweeting stuff like I'm hungry, or starved, and famished kind of things, they would actually look at these kind of keywords, and then they would start talking to them, saying and they had a very interesting way of talking, and which made them which had its own brand character kind of thing. So by doing this, then people started liking them, and at the back of the mind, they started having things like okay, these guys are somebody who are not intrusive, but they are trying to be helpful. They are trying to understand my needs and talk to me. But in the other extreme, I have seen brands who come online, follow influencers, and they just tweet to them about a contest which they are running, or just just tweet to them, just promoting their brand page. And what happens here is that that person is so busy, he will just delete the tweet or he'll just block the ID. So that doesn't really help. So I would suggest not to do that, but to actively follow influencers and engage them in conversations. And slowly, their follow these influencers may retweet, and their followers may see your tweet, and then they may follow you. And oh my God, we have got quite a lot of questions. I think Ruchi Bagla's question is also similar to what what I just answered right now. And okay, again, Prasad Vikram Rao's question: what are the conditions to be met to start trending? Number of tweets among top 5 tweets in terms of reach. Basically, yeah, it's the same thing. Like I was mentioning, Prasad. So it's like it's not the number of tweet which matters, but it's like the kind of virality which matters, and the people who are tweeting who are influential. So who are actively engaging with their followers, who are who have got a decent number of following. That kind of people only. That kind of thing helps actually. And so Akash Jain is yeah. This is a very interesting thing. How to increase the number of followers without any contest or giveaway. Yeah, Akash. I mean, right now, looking at the kind of things which brands are doing all over all over Twitter. It's like the top of mind recall is always about you know prizes, and I mean it's always top of mind. It's about these kind of guys who are running contests. But I would like to tell you like a very interesting point which many people don't realize. Volkswagen had a campaign some years back, where a couple of years back, I think, where they came out with a very interesting newspaper ad, which was like a talking kind of a ad, newspaper ad, and they spent crores of money on this, and then the people, Twitter users, or Twitter evangelists actually looked at how many followers have increased. They saw that it was hardly any increase. I mean, it was hardly any considerable number of increase. So number of followers doesn't directly correlate with any kind of contest or giveaway. Contest or giveaway may give you some kind of like a short-term kind of a like publicity. But at the end of the day, if you want to increase the number of followers, you have to be it has to be always mostly organic way, where you have to try and engage your followers and talk to them about interesting things, make them tweet to you and immediate reply to them. Those kind of things has to be taken care. So otherwise, I have never seen even when they gave away a car, I have not seen a campaign which has got more than 200, 300 followers. So that doesn't really work. So I think Mohit is asking how to authorize your brand page. Yeah, Mohit, right now Twitter, like if you, for example, Twitter, if you have a brand page and you want to make it a Twitter verified page, you can only raise a request. There is no paid kind of a thing that you can do right now. Or you can only raise a request and ensure that and that too, it has to be like somebody is trying to impersonate you, somebody is trying to use your name, and I mean they are trying to sell your services, kind of thing. That's the kind of the only time where you can actually raise a request on Twitter. And I mean, in the settings page, there is a help section where you can actually raise this request. But the sheer volume of requests which people will be getting, I don't think actually Twitter will be able to reply to each and every person. But I think as long as your brand, you have direct link to your website, and you link from your website, you link it back to your Twitter page, there should be like, there will be enough, and you tweet very interesting information about your brand or service, there should be enough credibility that people will still think that, this is an official page and follow that. So yeah, I think that is there. And yeah, Rahul asked an interesting question. Basically, he's asking, do social signals from Twitter can help you to increase your brand awareness? How much it will impact on search engine results as well? So Rahul, yeah, there has been cases where studies have been done, and they have found out that if you are actively you are actually tweeting links on your tweeting links, but useful links about your brand or services, and that can actually help in those keywords around with which you tweet. That those can actually help you in search engine optimization of your page increasing for your keywords. But at the end of the day, Twitter, there is another part of the story. Basically, Twitter also archives a lot of tweets. So unless you cannot really depend on it completely, but yeah, as long as possible, when you are tweeting about your brands or services with a link, and you feel that it will help in the search engine optimization, I would suggest you tweet with the keywords around that, and but make it very interesting tweet so that you get more interaction. And let me just see any other. Yeah, we know what third-party tools would you recommend to measure metrics? So we know that I'm actually coming to that in the next part. In the towards the end of the towards the end of this presentation, I'll be sharing that. So I guess I've taken enough questions, so I'll just go ahead and share some other views. So this is about paid Twitter marketing. So recently, what has happened is that Twitter is also coming out, and this has happened like in the just last 2 to 3 months, and Twitter is actually promoting paid Twitter marketing, where on top of like if you can see here, so like you can see here, it's like a promoted tweet, Pepsi MTV in this. So basically, on top of the already existing trends which are organic, you can actually pay Twitter a certain amount, and then that could make you that could make you put it up on the top of the on the top of the list, and that would actually give you more eyeballs, and people more visibility kind of thing. And but right now it is very prohibitive cost at a kind of you know at the kind of thing I have seen, that there is it's almost like around 6 lakhs, which was which is being charged by Twitter to have one hashtag trending for 24 hours in the promoted segment, and that may be a very prohibitive kind of a budget for many brands and services companies to get on board. But the many big brands like MTV, Pepsi, Philips also are experimenting with it, and they have got mixed reviews, mixed kind of response which they are getting. And I would say this is still early days. Then there is also one concept of promoted tweet which was there, which is like not just not in the trends list, but it is on your timeline. And if you are either your friend is following it, or you are following it, and that there'll be some promoted tweet which, if otherwise, if you are not online at the same time that the brand is tweeted, or if you have got a lot of friends that you follow, you will not be able to see the tweet. So this will ensure that promoted tweets also is there. Some of the brands that I know which have used promoted tweets are like NH7 and even Pepsi has used it sometimes. So I think we have one person raised a hand. Let me just look at the question. So okay, hi. What is the technique we have to adopt to increase the followers? So I think yeah, I think I have covered this. So it's basically all about engaging your followers, interacting with them often, and then not contests may help you to get some kind of like top of mind recall, but at the end of the day, followers will not be that. And there's one more by Praveen who is asking, why do people have? Kapil, how do you want to do this? Like, a couple of people have raised questions. So, sorry. Okay. So, okay. Otherwise, okay. Let me just check. Then,
Okay.
I don't see any paid. Okay, that will be better. Okay, sure. Because yeah, right now, I think they're coming in quite fast, so I'm not able to see that. Okay, that should be fine. Um, so I'll just go next. Next. So is Twitter marketing a fad? Yeah, I mean there has been a lot of unethical way of trending, which has been seen. Like some people were telling that they were using they were using fake followers. People have been using bots to tweet and try to trend, but over the period of time, I've seen that Twitter also is becoming very strict about these kind of things. They don't want a trending which has been done just using bots or something like that. They discourage that. They would want a trending to happen only if it's got some kind of a value. People are talking about it in a real way. Those kind of things only they would want that. They wouldn't want somebody who's just using bots and getting retweets so that that Twitter hashtag trends. And in fact, I've seen that when there are two couple of campaigns which are running on where one of where my friend Nivedit was using real influencers, and some other guy was using fake influencers or fake bots to retweet, and I've seen that Nivedit's hashtag got trending. So we need to ensure that these kind of things are not repeated, and that really doesn't help the brand in the long run. And there have been cases of Twitter blacklisting a hashtag so that it doesn't trend again. And it's important not to fall into that hole. And also there has been cases when people have started saying that started saying that these are the kind of costs per tweets that I will do. Per there has been cases when celebrities have charged say that I'll do 10 tweets, and I'll be paid 1 lakh kind of thing. So these are the kind of things which are not really worthy, because obviously these become like just ads and people are just tweeting away. So I would just discourage people to use this. And of course, like I have been continuously telling throughout, commercials are being valued more than conversation. So it's like finally at the end of the day, it's like how engaging have you been for your brand. It's not like just you have tweeted some 100 tweets about a brand. That doesn't really help. So I would, and some of the, like one of the quote that we got was that invention of so many brands and paid content is so much that it has got tough to even converse with people. That's the kind of thing. Many of the early adopters have kind of become very disturbed at the kind of way brands have taken over Twitter. And that I feel that it starts with us, the kind of people that we are, the brand managers that we are. We need to make we need to set a standard and ensure that these kind of unethical kind of ways to tweeting are not not promoted and are not encouraged. So I would say that. And this is a question that someone asked, Vinod, I think. Yeah, so the kind of tools which are available for analyzing Twitter trending activities. So these are the kind of tools that we have got, and most of them have at least some level of free, free reports that are available. And then if you want more granularity, If you want more detail, then you can always go for the paid versions of these. But these are some of the tools which are very useful. So I think we'll be sharing the presentation also. Some of, or if you have want to note down, you can do this. And yeah, this is the kind of this is one of the tool called Tweet Binder, which basically gives you kind of like I had shared with you the earlier part, which is the number of tweets and impact, but you could also go into some kind of granularity about who are the most active tweets, who have been tweeting how many tweets, and who are the most people with the most number of impact, who are the most popular people. So the difference between the popular people and highest impact are popular people are people with the number. It basically shows their follower count, and highest impact is people who have been tweeting I mean multiple times about it. And so for example, a person with 10,000 followers, if he tweets if he made 2 tweets, then that means that impact is 20,000. So that's the kind of impact which is there. So you can get this kind of information. How this helps a brand is that over a period of time, brand can recognize who are the people who are tweeting actively to them. Maybe they can talk to them, and maybe ask them to create more engaging conversation around the brand, and that would actually help a lot in taking the brand message across. So that's the kind of thing which is happening. So, and you also get much more detailed information. Sorry, okay. TrendsMap is also a good way by which you can check for trends. But yeah, before TrendsMap basically kind of gives you information about trends which are not yet in the top 10 lists of Twitter, and this could actually tell you how your hashtag is breaking into the Twitter trends campaign, Twitter trends list basically. And many brands have been using tweetups also. Basically, tweetups are like Twitter user meetups which happen over a over a offline meetup, and they try to connect Twitter and the real activity which happens. So it's one of the most successful ones which we organized is the Your Wish is My App festival, which we did for Nokia. So basically, people could come from across the from this was done in Bangalore, and basically people could come and they could give their app ideas and they could tweet it out, and we had them talking to a judge just like Vikas Khanna, and then what happened is that they could just give an idea and then get it validated right there then and there, and then maybe they also, this was a very popular reality show which was shown on NDTV, Good Times also. And some of the other ways that brands have been doing is, recently we were involved with the Razors One campaign for Budweiser, and this was for the this they kind of integrated with Instagram and ensured that the kind of tweets which came out with Razors One also, if they were on Instagram, you could create this kind of things and ensure that you could create this kind of microsites and ensure that your brand message is spreading a lot, and you are also engaging your users. And one last campaign that I wanted to just touch upon is the Aviva India's campaign, which so if you actually see the kind of, there were like multiple stages. So initially there was a buzz created also via Twitter and Facebook. Then there were like the launched. It's very important. What happens is that many times I've seen that Twitter hashtag it's not taken properly, and then people start tweeting with multiple hashtags. So it's important that an appropriate hashtag which makes sense is used by the brand and used to catch attention. And once this is happening, there were like regular personalized responses that the brand was doing to these people. So if somebody was tweeting about the fact that he has a small child whose birthday they just celebrated, then Aviva was actually talking to them about that, and maybe slowly talking about their products, but not in an intrusive way. So, and at the end of the day, there were like offline engagements like tweetups they organized, and other events they organized. They gave some kind of prizes, and this kind of got a lot of interesting response. So this is the kind of information that I wanted to basically share about the share here. So maybe we could take some questions here. So Praveen is asking, is hijacking a different brand hashtag advisable? So Praveen, yeah, like I was mentioning, you know, uh, in the Only Man Can. So there were there was Sony Pix which was taken it up. So in a way, it's not about advising. So right now, nobody can own a hashtag. So for example, if you are if you are Sony Pix @Sony Pix is your Twitter handle. Nobody can touch that. So you control who tweets from that or not. But a hashtag like Only Man Can, nobody can you nobody owns that. So for example, if Sony Pix uses that hashtag and makes it interesting for their for people who are looking at that hashtag, maybe people will start coming to Sony Pix and then take part in a contest which is happening on that timeline. So what I'm trying to say is that it's up to the brand. If they announce a hashtag, they should ensure that they're giving useful information so that nobody hijacks their hashtag to tweet something wrong about them. So there has been cases when some brands have got the the wrong end of the stick, basically by they they started tweeting about it, and at the same time there was some issues with their thing, and people started using that hashtag and started cribbing about their customer service, started blasting them over their kind of services that they provided, and this took so viral that it actually backfired on them. So it is not advisable to, I mean, if you're talking about as a brand, is it advisable or not? I wouldn't say it is advisable, but it's always up to you to use it innovatively and maybe get some of the followers who are looking at that hashtag onto your Twitter timeline. So that is there, and let me just sure. Yeah, I mean, so I think Arijit Sengupta is asking, can Twitter marketing be a standalone online marketing strategy or a mix of other online marketing strategies are required? So Arijit, like you see this particular Aviva campaign also, they were using both, Twitter and Facebook together. And like even Budweiser was using Twitter and Instagram together. So of course, you can always use Twitter marketing only as a standalone thing if you have a certain goal in mind, and but if you want to kind of not restrict yourself only to that medium, you can always look at other mediums, and but you need to ensure that the same kind of message is being conveyed all across. So you ensure that you don't lose the kind of you don't lose track over the over different channels, and maybe you're using only one channel to direct people towards other channel. You need to have enough action happening on both the channels, both on Twitter and Facebook, if you're using both. I think Aparna has raised her hand. Okay, I think Stavan's question is here. Actually, we can read it from a Stavan basically saying that from a luxury brand's perspective, how should its Twitter account be used to engage its audience if it doesn't want to do any contest kind of thing? So basically, okay, yeah. So basically, yes, Stavan, that makes sense actually. I also look at, I have also looked at some luxury brands which don't run any kind of contests and things. But one of the it's not just for Twitter, but I have seen that one very good practice that one of the brands is doing is Orange County. It's very premium resorts in South India, and they have got a regular newsletter which is going out to all their followers. I mean, which goes out to all their database. What they basically have is that they have information about some aspect of their resort, maybe a naturalist who was working there, maybe a rare species of bird or animal which is found there. They talk about it. They cover it in a little bit of detail. they add a bit of humor to it, they add a bit of human touch to it. So what happens is that, and then they also tweet about this, or share this on their Facebook page about it. And this I feel is very good, because at the end of the day, they are not just running contests. They are not running. I mean, till now I've been following them for the last 4 years. They are not on a single contest, and the only thing is that people at the end of the day, they're looking at quality content, what is there, and they are providing it in form of a newsletter, which then they promote it on their digital channels. And this has been taken off really well. And nobody is, at the end of the day, nobody is thinking I'm getting a marketing newsletter from Orange County. They're thinking that at the end of the day, I'm learning something new from this newsletter about a particular place. So I think that's the kind of way we can take. Yeah, this was interesting question by Manas about what are the traits or characteristics of Indian Twitter audience. So Manas, the kind of characteristics that I have seen is that most of them are there so that they can talk to their celebrity. I mean, they can basically directly hear from their celebrities. Celebrity. I mean, like their celebrity people, like film stars, sports stars, or kind of TV stars. So, but there has been also an increasing people who are taking part regularly in contests and promotions. And but I don't know what else kind of characteristics you are looking at. I would say that, I mean, at least I have read in a survey that the kind of number of people who use I mean, the kind of people who take part in campaigns in India is more than in in Western countries, if you that's where you're comparing it with. So that's that. And then let me just yeah, Gayatri has got an interesting question. Is Twitter helpful for B2B segment like IT services? So yeah, Gayatri, I mean, yeah, there has been, right now I would say that primarily I've seen that Twitter is being used for B2C segments. But I would say that there is always a possibility to use it for B2B. And but I mean, I don't really have a case study where I can share it about B2B segments, but there have been cases where I've seen that B2B segment, Twitter handles like say Dell laptops who want to target only CMOs, or who want to target CTOs or CXOs kind of an organizations. They start following these people, and then they also start following company Twitter handles, and then they maybe, if the people follow them, they have, even I've seen that they have used direct messages to kind of share some surveys, share some information kind of thing, and then they take it offline on an email medium or something like that. I hope that answers. And then Ramchandra is saying that to what extent do global brands allow local marketing teams to use Twitter? Okay. Any best practices besides internal ground rules? I think if I understand that question right, so if like a global brand like IBM is there, and then IBM India is there, what is the kind of rules that they've set up, and I mean, do they restrict much of the information? So I feel that, yeah, I mean, there is always brand. If when a brand is talking, you need to maintain a certain level of brand. The kind of brand talk should be the same. You cannot be a totally different kind of brand. So, like I was mentioning the case about Hippo. Hippo, if suddenly starts tweeting something, Hippo has always been funny. Tweets always funny. Doesn't tweet in a proper English. But if it started tweeting in proper English, then people would lose that brand. Connect with it. And so it would always be that global brands are allowing people. I know that they are allowing people, allowing their marketing teams to use Twitter, but they are also having some kind of set guidelines which they should use. One of the also case study is that Nando's, which is a restaurant chain, I've seen that they ensure that they always check back with their South African headquarters before tweeting anything, because they don't want they want that quirkiness in them to be retained and sustained. So that's what they allow them to do. So, and we can just look at some of the questions. Yeah, sorry, Kapil. Okay, sure. So, 1 second. I'm just looking at people who didn't get a chance. Okay. How, uh, okay, Praveen has got a question where he's asking, when doing a competitor analysis on Twitter, what factors need to be considered? And yeah, I mean, so Praveen, what I would say is that you need to look at you need to when you're actually doing a competitor analysis, you could always use tools which I mentioned, so you get an idea of what the kind of reach that these guys are getting, what is the kind of impact that these people are making, and also you can look at the stuff like you could also use social listening. Basically, just try to understand what people what people are like. For example, if you're Airtel and your competitor is obviously Vodafone, and if people have been cribbing about Vodafone 3G services, so you could always use that effectively in your communication on Twitter by starting to follow those people who have issues with Vodafone, and then once they see that you are following them, maybe you have something interesting which you tweet saying that for 3G services we have got this interesting offer. I'm not saying directly tweet to them, but you could always tweet at the same time, and or you could say that you could talk to them, and but that needs some kind of effort from your side as a brand to ensure that your message is not marketing message, but it is something where you're trying to help out. I've seen some really great brands do that globally, and which help out the people on Twitter itself rather than trying to take it offline onto a different communication channel. That way, it ensures that other followers who are following both you and the brand, I mean both the brand and the person who has a complaint, feels that okay, this is the kind of brand I would want to put my money on because they answer my questions and they sort out my issues, kind of thing. And yeah, Devashri Nanda has got a question about how Twitter can help startups. I would say that, yeah, I mean, this Twitter will definitely help startups quite a bit, because obviously, right now, like I was mentioning, you know, Twitter, running a Twitter campaign is not very expensive unless you want to go for something uh, like a paid marketing. And but like I mentioned, paid marketing may be prohibitive for many startups, but you can ensure with just a fraction of that cost, you can ensure that you conduct some Twitter trending campaigns using influencers and ensure that it still becomes a success. I hope that is there. And is randomly, Aparna has a question, is randomly mentioning non-followers in a tweet a good practice to engage? No, I would recommend against this, because what happens is that they feel they may feel that you are trying to just use you're just trying to piggyback on their popularity, by so that you just grab their attention. But I would say that rather than that, follow them, and then most often than not, many people get to know who their followers are, because most of us, if you actually see, have still enabled our Twitter email. When we have some kind of a new follower we still have that information, so that should not be an issue. But I would say we should not do this unless we have some kind of a something interesting to tell that. So mostly we should not do this. Yeah, absolutely, I think. Sure. I think Praveen has got a very. Sorry, Kapil. I was just saying Praveen raised an interesting point. Like, can all the attendees here interact on Twitter with a common hashtag for this webinar? I think Kapil, you can set up some hashtag where we can use this. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
So